Hey there, friendlies. How's up? Welcome to the 3rd of June episode of my fantabulous live stream. This is the Bevies, Blades, and Bushcraft live stream where we have bevies. We have blades around here somewhere, and we do on occasion talk about bushcrafty things. I will be drinking much liquid tonight because I have started my ADHD meds, and it's still really freaking loud up here, but I've got a really dry mouth, at least. So that's neither here nor there. Let's start off with the housekeeping. That's the part where I say, if you're listening to us time shifted to whichever day in the future it is, thanks for hanging out with us. I love knowing you're out there. I love knowing that you're watching the content after the fact, even though you cannot participate in this chat right here. And it just warms the cockles of my heart that you're watching this stuff and leaving a couple of comments and the doobly-doo down there. If at any point tonight you really love what's happening around here, I invite you to drop me a smiley thumb. If at any point tonight you really kind of hate what's happening, that's all right. The frowny thumb works just as well. And if you'd like to take a more active role in supporting the live stream, the creator, keeping that light on, then I invite you to investigate the membership button right there. Give it a right click, open it in another tab. There you will see the 2 tiers of membership that are available to you for your hard-earned cash, as well as what each tier gets you. Looking for water here, people. And I'm about to cough, so just give me a second. Sorry. So let's see who's hanging with us. We had right off the top at 9:15, which is essentially when I went boop with this thing, we had Channel Hero and Channel Friend, Canadian. We mute that. He was first, by the way, followed up very closely by Mark Davidson, who, by the way, is also a Channel Hero. Looks like we got some thumbs ups pop in there right off the hop, which is nice. That's an Ontario thing. We don't say off the hop in Quebec. Peanut Trucker, who is a channel mod, says, I'm trying to hold signal, but it's weak where I am. Come get me, Steve. Marcus in the house. Excuse me. That sniffing and everything that I've been doing, I finally went to see an ENT, and I have all kinds of things to do to see if I can get that under control, one of which is to minimize my tea consumption. You hear that? That's the sound of a heart breaking. We're going to get through this, though. So since I have no tea, and I did recently have a birthday, I figured maybe we'll have a leftover. If I can pour this without gooshing it everywhere, fine. If I goosh this everywhere, though, beer is back to being banned from the live stream. I'm looking for a place to pop it that's not over my my keyboard. Or directly under my mic. I wonder if it's flat. I guess we're about to find out. So this is a pale ale. I'm looking for, is there an English part on this? Like the only English on the on the can is pale ale. This is by Alchemist Microbrewery in Joliet, and it's a pale ale, 473 milliliters, 4.8% alcohol by volume, so it's a slightly light beer. But it's been too hot lately for my usual dark beer, so smells hoppy. A little on the hoppy end. Very refreshing though. Look at that color. Let's do that so you can see the color. Let's do that so you can see the color. Come on, camera. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so everyone was saying hi. Country Boy popping in. Country Boy is also a channel mod and a channel hero. So it'd be doubly nice. One's from gratitude and one's from fear. Serge in the house. Nice to see you, Serge. How's it out in paradise? Serge is also a channel mod, so it'd be nice out of fear. Just trying to skip past everyone saying hi to each other, except of course if somebody says hi to me, because I'm me. Destiny Fitzgerald popping in, saying happy birthday to Jennifer, as I did earlier today on the Book of Faces. Hope you're getting a tasty cake tonight after supper. Can't have a birthday without a cake or cupcakes. I'm just skipping past all the hellos here, people. Except the one to me, because I'm me. Destiny said hi to me without me having to ask for it. I'm feeling good about myself. I was kind of in your backyard this weekend, wasn't I, Destiny? Or am I misremembering where you live? For those of you who don't know, on Friday. Oh, hold on. Before I tell my own little silly story, Destiny is saying that June 13th is Wonders Ranger's birthday. Just saying. Is he around? We'll make sure to wish him a happy birthday next week. Christy said to remind Jess about the magazine. Schnitzel, what magazine? Was it this one? No. Standing up for our sovereignty, same-sex rights, Canada Day quiz. Canada Day quiz. Thank you. Yes, we'll do that tonight. Not the whole thing, because that would be utterly boring for most of us. But I just want to see what kind of quest, and I didn't look, so I don't even know where the hell it is. Get your Irish on. An Ontario region celebrates 2 centuries of Celtic settlement. I'll find it later. I made sure not to look at it because I don't want to pre-answer anything. But yeah, after I finish saying hi to everyone, I will find it in Canada's History magazine. I'll be very careful not to show certain parts of that magazine in these trying times. So yeah, just let me say hi to a few more people, like Christy. Hi, because she's saying hi to me and everyone. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Everybody. Yep, I got the magazine right here. Yeah. Everyone just saying hi. I mean, God, you guys are all so friendly and chatty. What's with all this friendlinesses? Destiny got the hoops off. All right, good to know. Hi, good Mike. How are you doing, Mike? Pleased with himself that he said Mike instead of Hike this time. Everybody's saying. Everybody going, whoa. Canadian laughing at, probably, I don't remember what. I don't know what. Pale ale tea. Honeybee in the house. How you doing, Honeybee? How you doing, Mr. B? I'm just sort of Honeybee, by the way, is a channel mod, so be nice or get the banhammer dropped upon you. Bum, 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 bum. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Chris is trying to hang out, but it keeps on stopping. Yeah, Chris has bad signal tonight, apparently, which sucks. He's at the 103 in the TA. What's TA? What's TA, guys? Is that something in Arizona? Country boy, I don't know if that's going to work. There's enough tinfoil hats going around these days. All right, so let's just relax. The tinfoil hats. Grace in the house. How you doing, Grace? Grace McGrace. Grace right now is a channel hero, by the way, which is nice to see. It's not an IPA. Yeah, it does look more like an amber, actually. I almost never drink beer anymore. It was very tasty. Bum 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 bum. Biddo, how you doing? Nice to see you. How's the weather down there? Have I caught up with everyone who's popping in? Who's popping in? What? Popping in? I think I have. So, okay, so he's about an hour from you. So, oh, TA is a Truck Stops of America. It's a chain. Okay, all right. Thanks, thanks, Chris. I thought that TA was like I was trying to figure out what state TA is. You know, with all those like 2-letter states that all the 2-letter abbreviations that all the states and provinces have. I was like, what the hell's TA? But he said Arizona. Just goes to show you, I don't know, shift. There's this guy named Tyler Bucket on YouTube, and his whole thing is he's a guy in the States somewhere, and the vast majority of what he does on his channel is he reacts to Canadiana, something Canadian. And sometimes he's like confused by something, but I know he's been confused by that in a previous episode. And so when I was like, geez, I was trying to figure what state TA is, I kind of feel like some of the comments he makes sometimes where it's like, but what is that? And I'm like, it's something very common up here. Why don't you know it? Oh, it's because you're American and it's only common up here, kind of thing. I love that guy, by the way. I mean, he is so naturally curious and so not angry at some of the things that Canadians say. Like, he's just so openly curious, and I love his channel. I don't watch all of it, but I like his channel. Yeah, an hour away is pretty close. That's for sure. Is Tyler Bucket related to Hyacinth by any chance? No, he's actually Bucket. He's not Bouquet. I see. I'm not the only one who knows Tyler Bucket. Yeah, he's got a real good energy, that guy. And I love anyone who comes, whose channel is based on their own honest curiosity, and they don't mind like discovering something new in front of an audience, even if sometimes like, oh wait, I didn't know that. Should I have known that? So Destiny Seth saith, keeping up appearances was my favorite English. I'm surprised that you guys. I figured that was a show that only I and one other guy have ever seen. So I'm pleased to see that I wasn't alone in that. Um, so yeah, this weekend, Destiny, was I out in your sort of part of the country? Um, I had a 7 o'clock flight, 7 a.m. flight to Calgary last Friday. We were there. My guitarist and I went there. We had a gig in Airdrie that night. It was an 80th birthday for the father of a couple who've been really good to us over the past decade. Whenever we play the Alberta festival that we do every year in August, uh, they used to hire us for a house concert, and we could stay over if we were like in transit, and they were just terrific people. And their dad, and they always came to the festival, and their dad came a few times, loved the band. He was learning fiddle, so he loved our fiddle player. And at a couple of the house concerts, they sort of ended off with sort of a jam session where our fiddler Peter sort of invited him to play along and stuff, and he was very excited about that. And so for his birthday, they were surprising him with all of his favorite things, and so they paid us and plane tickets to haul our cookies out to Alberta. And it was burgers and tomatoes because that's one of his favorite things, burgers with tomatoes on them. And so like the beverages, like everything was his favorite stuff. And so it was really nice to play for these very friendly people who we've known for a while and who just wanted us to play their father's 80th birthday. What was beautiful about it was that Saturday we didn't have anything to do, so we could just sort of kick back. We went to the whiskey store, of course, but it was like totally relaxing. And then Sunday morning we flew back home, and then I rebuilt the barbecue that we had gotten, and that a couple of the parts had been wrong on. I rebuilt it because the parts were here, and I cleaned the aquarium, did some laundry, did some dishes, felt like a real rock star. So, anyways, it was a good weekend, and it was a weekend to unhitch from this stuff that I've been going through lately, which was nice to just sort of ignore that. I mean, now I'm back in it. I'm looking for occupational therapists and stuff, which is expensive. But yeah, Mark still watches Keeping Up Appearances. I don't watch anything on TV anymore. I haven't seen, I watched 2 episodes of something recently. Oh, Delicious in Dungeon. It's an anime. Like while I was cleaning the aquarium, kind of thing. For some reason, and this is maybe something that I will lose over the next little while as I medicate and all that stuff. But like, I get this massive feeling of guilt if I just sit down to watch TV. Like, why am I not doing anything? Yeah, that's weird, right? Anyway, hey, how's it going, Johnny? How you doing? This beer is so nice and cold. Better not drink too much. The whiskey that I bought, well, I haven't brought it home because I didn't bring I didn't throw anything onto the plane. Like, I just brought carry on, so I'll probably get it in like August probably. What was it? Bridge Head Distillery? I don't think it's Bridgehead. Bridgeland. I think it was Bridgeland. Bridgeland Distilling. Come on, fool. I'm trying to show something to the guys and the gals, the ladies and the gents. Bridgeland Distillery, Canada, Calgary. Oh, they do brandy? I did not know that. So, I picked up a bottle of the Tabor Corn Bear Bun. How come you're not giving me? Okay, hold on. I have to go to the buying site, I guess. This is weird. I am trying to. Their website is nothing like their mobile site. I'm just gonna share it. Boom. So I bought a bottle of this Tabercorn bourbon, which has many awards. Um, the bottle I bought though was a store pick for Kensington Wine Market. They picked a barrel and had it bottled at cask strength. So like the bottle I bought was like 61% ABV. So that I may not just sip. I may actually have to consider that a cocktail version. I'm trying to grow it so you can see the bottle. Darn burn it. I'm bringing this up because we've had the discussion of how the Canadians here are going to get their bourbon fix, and so this is bourbon and all, but location. It's a straight up 60% Tabor corn, 32% barley, 8% wheat. Right? I mean that's a bourbon, um, twice distilled, without additives, coloring, or chill filtration. A combination of buttery sweet caramel aroma and fresh straw on the nose, reminiscent of freshly harvested fields of corn and wheat. Black pepper on the front of the palate that transforms into velvety dried apricot flowers, and a mellow finish on the back of your tongue. Lingering hints of sarsaparilla stays with you before your next sip. There was a plural singular disagreement there. Anyways, it's usually 45%, which is a much friendlier on the mouth. I forgot to show it. It's this one right here. This app is so awkward when it comes to showing stuff. Like there's an extra step that I don't think should be there. So anyways, here we go. This guy right here. It comes in 500 ml bottles. It's like $57 at the distillery. The one I bought was 97 because it was cask strength. Anyways, that's that. I'm not going to bore everyone with too much of that. It's just something that, because I've talked to a couple of you guys about, what do we do when the bourbon runs out? There are a few that you can get up here that they all play with the word bourbon. Like there's the BRBN one that I think one of you guys bought. I'm looking forward to hearing some tasting notes. I'm just looking for. I'm slipping behind on the Chitty McChat, so. That's an excellent concept. So Country Boy sent me a whole bunch of hot sauces that I'm just dying to do a little members only video on about with Cody, because those of you who are members will have seen many of those episodes, and I got this beautiful care package from Country Boy. It's just lately I've either been out of town or Cody has been studying for an exam, or she's been in trouble, but got to get that done pretty soon. I think she wants to do it on taco night, because that was sort of, it's so easy to do hot sauces on tacos, right? You just hold it and go boop 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 boop. But Country Boy, you got a couple for yourself. Were any of them the same that you sent me, or did you get something else for you? I'd love to hear all about it. It's cold. That little beer fridge of mine, I keep dang cold. Cold. Guinness should not be ice cold. No, it should be a little warmer. Like, people say it should be room temperature. No, it's just it shouldn't be as cold as, most North American beers should be. Guinness isn't really a beer, it's a meal. I love Guinness. I think Guinness is uh, not but one of the OG of my beer journey for sure. Yeah, it's a cool little bottle. Like they're only 500 ml, right? So it's about it's about yay big, just a little guy. Which means that the store pick bottle that I bought at like $97, that's expensive. Like around 57 for a 500 ml. If you extrapolate to a 750, it's $100 bottle almost. It's like 90-ish. I do the same math with that little tiny Japanese Nika from the bottle, the 500 ml square bottle that I've told you guys about. It's like $68. So if you extrapolate upwards, it's $100 bottle essentially as well. Um, Mark is asking the important questions. Has everyone smashed that thumbs up? You're gonna hurt my feelings if you don't. Give me 1 second. I remember to unmute this time. Country Boy paid express shipping for your bottle from Top Shelf and still won't be here till Friday. How is 8 days priority? Wow. Okay, that's good to know. You know what you're reminding me of? Um, when I got my Groman number one, I tried to order it direct from Groman first. 2 weeks later, I didn't have even a packing list, like a packing. They give you a notice. This has been picked and packed. Nothing. So I sent them an email saying, you know, I understand that you're not Amazon, but 2 weeks is beyond the pale. Please cancel my order. And they said, but it's just gone to the shipping bay. I said, I don't care. And I ended up buying one from, because like 2 days later, I was like, but I want one, but I'm not buying it straight from Groman again. Nope. So I bought one from Bushcraft Canada. But it's tough to, like it's tough to not judge everyone against the Amazon bar, right? You order something, it's here tomorrow. And not everyone can do that. It's an insanely expensive way to do things, and that's why Amazon only does it for um, Prime members, right? But if it's at least in transit, Country Boy, whenever I order from BSW in Alberta, I have no idea when it's going to show up. No idea. It's never like 3 day shipping. It's always a week and a half or something like that. So maybe, yeah, I don't know, but I mean, if priority should not be 8 days, priority should be like 5, go max. That's it. Ah, Christy tasted the rabbit hole. Which one did you get? That's some nice peanutty goodness, that stuff. Gonna miss it. Marcus. Hot wings on the grill. What I can't wait to do with that thing is to smoke some jerky or brisket or some damn thing. That's what I can't wait for. Country Boy has the same question as I do. Ah, the Derringer are nice. Yep. Yep. Um, Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I'm gonna stop now. Happy birthday. That's my facts. If you don't mind me asking, what does it cost in the US of A? Yeah, it would be interesting to know what that costs down there, eh? Highly interesting. Oh, I see. Okay, so you had it in a bar, like 85. That would put it in line ish with what we spent on ours, I think. Country Boy, am I wrong? Like within the ballpark. It makes it expensive in US dollars though. Tasting something in a bar, even if it's like a $30 dram, is still a good way to do it if you're not really sure you're gonna enjoy the entire bottle. Because yeah, that's a really expensive dram of whiskey. But if it's $100 bottle, I'd rather know at $30 than at 100. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? By the way, I have caught up with the chat. I think that's pretty cool. Um, anyone seen Russell lately? By the way, I haven't heard much from him in a minute. What time are we at? 21:34. Let me just see if I can find some questions. Some questions. So, what page is the Canada Day, or should I keep it for July? Like they put it in this issue because I think it's a bi-monthly. Yeah, this is the June July, right? June July, right there. So it's just weird timing though. I'm not ready to think about Canada Day yet. I do not know any of these. Okay, here's one. Let's see if anyone knows anything. Crumbs. Wait, where's David? Where's David? He'd probably eat these up. Hold on. Shawnee says, I have wonderful rain for the gardens, listening while working. I can't wait to start gardening. That garden is still all dug up. Maybe this weekend we'll get to it. What I did though is, you know how you can buy like potted herbs at the grocery store, and like they're always way too tight. So even if you water them, they all die because they're choked out. So we had a few of those. We had thyme, basil, and mint. No, not mint. Something. And I separated them out into little those little fiber pots that you stick in the ground and they biodegrade. Because we're going to be planting them outside probably very soon, but I kind of wanted them to survive at least that long, and they were getting really, really ragged. So I don't know if they're saved. I'm hoping they are. But yeah. Country Boy says a brisket with the habanero pineapple mango would be fantastic. That one and the habanero mango are my favorites. Yeah, I love that because when I make a hot sauce, it's always a habanero and pineapple and mango. So when I saw a bottle of that, I was like, "Are you kidding me? I gotta taste that one." I still really want to try doing a fermented hot sauce though as well. Yeah, Shawnee, I do love me some fresh herbs. So much better than the dried stuff. I'm look, if I'm making like a jambalaya or something, that's where dried herbs really shine. But um, just like for throwing some whatever fresh coriander is called, cilantro or something like that down on a dish. Come on, it's got to be fresh. Destiny Fitzgerald, is there an O Canada cocktail? I don't know, but we're about to find out. There's a Toronto, which I don't think was actually designed in Toronto. No. Oh, Canada cocktail. First thing that comes up is the Caesar. Of course. I mean, eh, yeah, Canada cocktail. The AI thing is Canada is renowned. Canada is renowned, for its unique cocktail creations such as the Caesar, which is considered the country's national drink. The Caesar was invented in 1969 by bartender Walter Schell in Calgary, Alberta, and typically consists of vodka, clamato juice, hot sauce, and Worcester sauce, served with a celery salt rimmed glass and garnished with a celery stick or an extreme bean. Another notable Canadian cocktail is the Toronto, a sophisticated mix of Canadian rye whiskey, Fernet Branca, simple syrup, and bitters, offering a bold and complex flavor profile. That's not how you spell flavor when talking about Canadian cocktails. Additionally, the Shaft cocktail, originating in the 1970s in Saskatchewan, is a creamy drink made with a combination of Kahlua, vodka, and cream. Never heard of a Shaft. I don't think the Toronto is a Canadian cocktail. Maybe I'm wrong about that. There's something called a Canadian cocktail, and there's something called a Canadian sour. I did not know any of this. Oh no, it's spiced rum. Canadian cocktail: 2 ounces of spiced rum, half ounce of maple syrup, of course, quarter ounce freshly squeezed lime juice, quarter ounce apple cider, an eighth of a teaspoon ground cinnamon, and 1 stick cinnamon for garnish. That doesn't sound half bad. Like, it's a dessert cocktail for sure, but that doesn't sound half bad. So should I come up with an O Canada one? Something that is like white and red? So something cream based with something red in it, like um what's that stuff called? Come on, brain. Oh my god. You know what? Knowing why my brain doesn't work doesn't miraculously make it work. Shawnee planted sage, oregano. What's that? Thyme, parsley the other day. Nice. You need to get your mints and lemon balm still. Basil, I planted seeds. We plant a lot of mint. It smells beautiful when we're sitting out there with all of our planters all around. You got mint, you got basil, you got lemon balm. Man, Christy says that sounds like a fall drink. Yeah, you're not wrong. I think it sounds like a fall drink too. Oh, dill too. I love dill. Man, one of the reasons I wish I could eat salmon is because it seems that so many people have dill with it, and I love dill. Destiny's asking if Shawnee has done a mosquito-free live. Would love to hear your thoughts on herbs that keep those darn bugs away. Dragonflies will definitely keep mosquitoes away, and if you have a bat house, I mean, a bat house can take out like 1,600 mosquitoes in an area in a night. Shawnee says we just built a deck. I want to make mosquito-free plant zone, so I'm researching it. 8 Acres says the Montreal cocktail is some Labatt 50 with some Black Label and Molson X. Yuck. I think he's just kidding. Let me check it out. If you're right about this, Sash, I'm gonna be angry because I don't want a cocktail named after this amazing city to be that. There's an actual Montreal cocktail. Fortunately, it's not what you're talking about. Oh, it's in the difference guide. Still, um, what? Okay, so listen to this. Or why don't I just share the screen? Why don't I share a screen properly this time? I don't want to turn this into a cocktail live, though, guys. How come I can't share my damn screen? There we go. Share, which should put it on the screen, but it doesn't. So now I have to go to the sidebar and say show on screen. Great big. There we go. So apparently this is the official city cocktail. I would have heard of this before then. Oh, Nick and Nora glass. Yes. Okay, so London Dry Gin, Canadian Rye Whiskey. Okay, Luxardo. I have that for sure. I wouldn't call it an Aperol style liqueur though. Gentian liqueur, okay, I've got Sue's. Uh, grapefruit zest twist. I can't eat. I can't have grapefruit. Stir. Okay, so you use a stirring, a mixing glass. Fine strain. It's on the boozy side, and it's on the drier sour side. Stirred, spirituous. Wow, beautiful word. And bittersweet London dry gin and gentian liqueur in this aperitif style cocktail reflect Montreal's French and English influences. Okay, I see it. Naturally, this Canadian cocktail also features domestically produced rye whiskey. Okay, this is why I've never had it. Collaboratively created in the summer of 2017 by 15 Montreal bartenders with the hope to not only inspire the people of our great city, but those of other communities across the globe to give life and to embrace the Montreal cocktail as a modern day classic. The initiative, which coincided with Montreal's 375th anniversary, was led by Kevin Demare, owner of Montreal's Cold Room. The other team members were Brinley Leach, Charles Landry, Chris Natale, Drahos Chitri, Fabien Mallard, Graham Warner, Hugo Dallaire, Jason Griffin, Kate Bouchel, Philippe Aman. 191 calories. I'm gonna make that. Not right now because I'm not equipped down here, but I am gonna make that. I'll make that on a members live. Peanut Trucker's wife only has basil. Well, basil is a damn good herb to have. You can use it on anything, man, anything with a tomato sauce base, like, or throw it on some like pizza, right? If you're doing homemade pizzas, which I made for supper tonight, by the way. Wasn't John Labatt held for ransom on Lake Muskoka? I don't know that. Was he? Basil tea. Truth. Longest question in the house. How you doing, Skip? How you doing? I keep forgetting where I found that. Oh, I know. You want to hear some Canada Day quiz questions? See if anyone here knows any of them. Okay. Question 8. Which Canadian province or territory has the longest coastline? A. Nunavut. B. Newfoundland. That should be Newfoundland and Labrador magazine. C. British Columbia. Or D. Quebec. I don't know, like, where to even find these answers. Country Boy is asking me. You can eat halibut, can't you? My favorite fish meal is making an envelope of tinfoil, put the fish in, pour in a little whipping cream. Really? Oh, and a handful of fresh dill. Bake 350 for about 20 minutes. Yeah, halibut's a white fish, right? I can eat that. I can do that. Sounds pretty good, actually. Like, when you say a little, you don't mean, like, douse the whole thing, right? You mean just, like, a little trickle? Destiny thinks that the longest coastline is Nunavut. Let me see if I can find where the answers are. You might be right because of all those islands, eh? Just a splash, okay. Oh, there are the answers. Okay, question 8. Nunavut, whose extensive mainland and more than 36,000 islands give it 144,689 kilometers of coastline. That's a lot of coastline. Question 14. Established in 1885, Banff was the first national park in Canada. What was the second? A. Glacier. B. Yoho. C. Cape Breton Highlands. Or D. Thousand Islands. Yoho, maybe? Raptor Ranch, how are you doing tonight? How's it going in northern Wisconsin? What's the weather like? It's been stinking hot here lately, which is why I'm having a beer for the first time in forever. At the gig, we brought some beer, but we also brought some 0% stuff so that we wouldn't get like 3 sheets to the wind while performing. And so I tasted the Guinness 0%, and it's actually pretty damn respectable. Destiny thinks it's Cape Breton. Cape Breton Highlands. Let's see. That was question 14. Glacier and Yoho. The two parks were established simultaneously in 1886. Okay, here's a little boring ass Canadiana for you guys. What did inventor Alexander Graham Bell propose as the standard telephone greeting? A. How'd you do? B. Hello. C. Salutations. Or D. Ahoy. I know the answer to this one. Cold and rainy. Been in the house most of the day. It's been. I mean, it wasn't. It did go up to 29 degrees today, but like the entire day wasn't stinking hot. The morning was not bad. Oh, I think country boy says it was ahoy, and I believe you are right. I think it's ahoy, but it became hello because of other people. Unless I'm completely wrong and you're completely wrong. Question 1. Ahoy, the greeting hello was Thomas Edison's idea. And as we all know, Thomas Edison was an asshole. So we should all be singing ahoy. That's it. From now on, whenever someone calls me, I'm going, ahoy there. Ahoy there, matey. Ahoy it is, and ahoy it shall be, henceforth. Yeah. These kind of questions are like, the first patent in Canada was issued to Noah Cushing on June 8th, 1824 for what invention? A washing and fulling machine. B, a wagon divided into equal portions. C, an advanced method of churning butter. Or D, a device for measuring gaseous substances. I have no idea. I'll say the washing machine because it's the only one that I actually know what that would be. Anyone want to take a guess at that? Raptor Ranch got 6 walleye over the weekend. Smoked 4 of them. Nice. Nice. You have a smoker, or do you do the old-fashioned way with a little tiny fire under a bunch of branches? Destiny thinks it's a gaseous one. So what question is this? Number 13? And I don't believe it. A washing and fulling machine. Fulling was a process of pounding wool cloth to cleanse and thicken it. Amazing. A lot of these are the kind of questions that, not everyone would find. Well, I don't know if anyone finds any of these interesting, but like a lot of these are really deep cut Canadiana, Oh, here's one that's cool just because I've been on it. 5. What RCMP ship, now permanently docked at the Vancouver Maritime Museum, was first across the Northwest Passage from west to east? A. Yoa, B. St. Roch, C. Erebus, or D. Blue Nose? Hmm. Oh, you got a smokehouse raptor. Nice. I'm not a whole lot better than you at these, Destiny. Yeah, I would love to have the room for a smokehouse. I'm gonna say it's definitely not Erebus because that was Captain Brain. But yeah, Christy, it was the St. Roch. I'm sure of it. I'm absolutely sure of it. I'm gonna feel stupid. I'm sure because I've been on that ship and I recognize it. And I know that it did the Northwest Passage, but maybe it wasn't the first. Yep, B, St. Roch. The RCM St. Roch. I love that. I love it. I can't wait to start smoking meat on my barbecue. Excuse me. So good. Christy for the win. True. Nice work, Christy. Nice work. Peanut trucker. Oh, Chris does a lot of smoking when he's home. I don't do a lot. In fact, I've only done it once, and even at that, it wasn't my project. I was hanging with someone else, doing a 10-hour brisket on his Kamado Joe. Which is still sort of the the pinnacle smoker barbecue as far as I'm concerned, but they're so expensive. Like nobody can afford those. Nobody. I mean, some people can, but most people cannot. Destiny, no, no, it's some local, they're local hot sauces. They're made on the Sunshine Coast, Scott. I've been on the Sunshine Coast. It's gorgeous there. It's absolutely glorious. I'd like to be there again, actually. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anyone here. Yeah, I don't think I can eat walleye, right? Is walleye a salmon? Oh, home built on top of it. Nice. Love it. So does it look like a little cabin? Like a little shack kind of thing? With a peaked roof, or do you just have, like, a slanted roof to keep the rain out, or what? Like, how big is it? Because you need to be able to burn, stuff in it? Um, in Seashelt. I've been to Seashelt. Absolutely beautiful. Stunning area. I mean, we got a lot of natural beauty here in Quebec, but British Columbia beauty is a special thing, man. It's a misty, cool in your face, seagulls in the distance kind of thing. Oh, walleye is a white meat fish, so I probably could eat those then. Raptor Ranch says it looks a little bigger than an outhouse. Nice. And so you hang the stuff in, right? You start a low fire and you hang the stuff in. I'd love to design one of those. Thing is, I would never get away with that in Montreal. There's no way. Even smoking with a barbecue, little iffy. I'd probably get away with it, but man, trying like building a smokehouse, there's no way. So I just have to win the lottery and buy a cabin. That sounds reasonable, right? So what does walleye taste like? Like I've had all the boring ones, right? Like I've had cod, I've had haddock, I think, tilapia, hang in cast iron grates. Okay, nice. And I mean, you're building a really small fire, right? Because you don't want to heat the fish up enough to actually cook it. You just want to smoke it and dry it, right? So, like, how much care do you have to take when you're making the house, the fire? Um, Raspberry. Oh, hi, Russell. He says it has a distinct fishy taste. I don't love the fishy taste, and I think it's mostly because I associate the fishy taste with a trip to the hospital. Um, but okay, so I won't go. I won't go catching any walleye and expecting a delicious. Country boy, why you got to be like that? Gross. Focus. Because it's 10 o'clock. Christy says the walleye I had did not taste fishy to me. I like it. Well, some people like a very fishy taste, but also it's funny because I keep saying, man, I don't like fishy. It's like salmon and everything, but salmon, if it's fresh, doesn't have an uber fishy taste. I have heard. I've only tasted salmon once, and then the world kind of went black. So I don't remember what it tasted like, but it doesn't even smell as fishy when it's really nice and fresh. Like how all fish, when it's been there a couple of days, starts to taste a little or smell a little maritime. I find that really fresh salmon doesn't. I mean, it has a distinctive smell, but it's a much fresher smell when the fish isn't old. Beto was saying hi to. Raptor says to roast it, to soak it in milk if you don't like fishy. For how long? Like an overnight thing, or just like a half hour as you're preparing your stuff? Country Boy says, walleye with fish crisp coating and shallow fried doesn't taste fishy at all. It's a very clean flavor. Okay, that's good to know. That's very good to know. Okay, so you soak it in milk for 6 hours. Okay, good to know. So right now, oh, okay. There's like 14 people watching and 15 and 18 thumbs ups. Okay, so I was just seeing how many people were hurting my feelings, and apparently nobody is. Oh. Oh, what's fish crisp coating? Is that like something specific that you can buy, or is it like something that everyone knows how to make, and you just call it fish crisp, and everyone's like, "Yeah, that's flour, Old Bay seasoning, and coat with egg." Because if Christy had it the same way, this is obviously it's a thing. Oh my god, that's very peaty. That's hugely peaty, but not overbearingly so. And there's a saltwater thing happening, very maritime. Nuts, baked goods like not bread, but like a brioche or something. Oh, people are talking upstairs. Very malty and something burnt. Not quite a campfire. Something ashy. So good. Let's see. Russell was trolling us all. Great. Just try. Okay, it's only 10:04. We're good. So maybe I'll try it. I'll try to smoke up some walleye. I can pretty sure I can get it nearby. I don't fish. I wouldn't I wouldn't know how to catch a fish for obvious reasons. I never learned how to make fish. How to make a fish. How to fish. We bought my daughter a whole bunch of fishing gear um, with the plan that her grandpapa would take her out and show her how to fish because she was interested. And that was the few months before COVID hit. So all that stuff is just sitting under her bed. Maybe someday. Wrapped Ranch says, if you make homemade onion rings, use the same coating recipe. Oh, okay. So it's that. It's that batter. Okay. Yeah. I know that. I do know that batter. I know it well. And so like a shallow fry, like it needs to have what, like this much oil, I guess. Just enough to sort of maybe not absolutely floating, but not quite deep frying. I'd like to try this. I'm going to um wait a minute. First of all, Destiny says, don't they sell fish crisp at Walmart? I do not know. I only go into Walmart when I absolutely have to. Country Boy says, I think it depends on how deep the lake is, too. Shallow lakes produce stronger fishy taste. Bigger, deeper lakes produce a cleaner fish. I love trout, but not from a shallow lake. First of all, I cannot eat trout. Second of all, I did not know that. Learning some new things here. I'm going to try this walleye with fish crisp thing. This thing. Things to try. listed. Raptor Ranch deep fries, but don't overcook. So, like, if you've made a fillet, is that the word in English for like a fish? Like, where you a piece? Is it a fillet in English? Um, so if you do like a fillet and you coat it, dunk for like, because I one thing I know about whitefish at least is it's ready soon. It's ready fast. So am I just dropping it in for 2 minutes? Country boy might be talking out of his ass, but he can only speak from personal experience. Mm-hmm. I agree, Destiny. That is definitely a quotable quote. Hey, how's it going, Jim? How you doing? Are you driving right now? Um, just until okay, so you drop it in, you watch until it gets a light golden brown, and then you take it out. Okay. I clicked that by accident. Jim's not driving. You kicking back, or are you still at work? So good. You know, on the hot half of the year, I shy away from peated scotch, but that really is good. You could do the same thing with like a tilapia or something. Right? I don't know why I say tilapia. I say tilapia because I know it's a safe fish. We eat it all the time, but ugh, such a boring fish. Jim is home. He just cracked 2 beers. Nice. Okay. Okay, that's definitely kicking back. Country boy is like, if you ain't driving, why are you so late? It takes time to crack 2 beers. Christy says to try the tilapia with a fish crisp. Okay. Put it on a drip screen, not a paper towel. What's a drip screen? I've never even heard of that. Drip screen. So why? What does that do differently? Drip tape, automatic screen filter, drip irrigation, stainless steel replacement screen for nope. Drip filter. Drip screen for deep frying. Deep fryer screens. Yeah, so what Raptor, what does the drip screen give you that a paper towel doesn't? I mean, I always just throw my stuff like my bacon or whatever onto a paper towel. What's the uh-oh. What's the oh, I see. It doesn't get saggy. Okay. Soggy. Country boy tilapia in a beer batter is how you do your fish tacos. Those are bassa filet. Um, for our fish tacos, I think we do a fish crisp. Now that I know what it's called, I think that's what we do. You're late because you don't really have to explain why you're late, Jim. I mean, the fact that you're here is good enough for me, and it's a free live stream. Sorry to hear that you had a bad night. What kind of music were you listening to? What make Oh, guys, what a great question. In honor of Jim, because I'm not gonna ask about his bad night, otherwise he would have said what it is. What do you guys listen to make you feel better if you're having a rough day or a rough week or a bad night? What's your feel better music? What's your feel better music? 'Cause I could use some ideas because I'm feeling really shit about myself ever since that whatever. I'll tell spin on my own time. But yeah, I think I had picked up already that Country Boy was kidding Jim. There's no pressure here. But yeah, I'd love to know what everyone's feel good music is for a rough day. I don't know what my feel good music is. There are a couple of songs that kind of amp me up, but like I don't know what I would listen to deal with a rough day. I used to have bands that were great for that. I don't remember what any of them are. Oh, The Cure, I guess. Back when I was, all Robert Smith lookalike. Um, I used to listen to a lot of like ska, not the old rock steady stuff, and not the ska punk stuff. I listened to some of that too, but like my jam was the Coventry era, the 70s and 80s ska. Um, Jim rising to the occasion here. His feel good music is Jimmy Buffett, Van Halen, Rush, then some country rap songs. Like like who? Which country rap? Like Shabuzi? I have tried to like Jimmy Buffett, and I've come to peace with Jimmy Buffett, but he'll never be an artist who means anything to me. I don't think he's bad. It's not a that's not a qualitative thing about whether or not he's any good because I do think he's got skill and I see why he's seminal. Um, but all of the touchstones in his music are things that ain't me, you know? Um, okay. He's gonna be secretive about that. That's fine. It's all right. Um, Wrapped Around says classic yes. No, I thought you said classic yes. I was like, all right, we got a prog rocker in the house. Classic 70s. You have a playlist. There's a lot of 70s stuff I like. I've come to like a lot more now that I see it in hindsight. Um, like I'm a child of the 70s, but I really musically came of age in the 80s. But even then, like some of the bands that I grew up with in the 80s started in the late 70s as well, right? The Cure was not a straight up 80s band. Um, and there are 70s songs that I hear and I'm immediately shunted back to being a small kid in a wood paneled basement playing. It was like one of those cuckoo clocks on the wall. Piano Man is one of those. I don't like the sound of the piano, but the sound of the piano with a harmonica, but like not played blues style, takes me back to that feeling. Like when the most stressful part of my life was, you know, am I gonna get this toy for Christmas? Country Boy says no specific genre. I just go to YouTube and browse Got Talent. America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, and for inspirational stuff. Unknowns with Amazing Voices lifts me up. There was a, I don't know if it was Swedish or Norwegian, but one of the Scandinavian versions of that show where a guy came on and did a yoik for a friend of his who had died. And a yoik is a very cool kind of music anyway, because there are no actual lyrics. It's all just syllables. Um, and I believe that it comes from some ancient way of communicating across distances or something. I don't quite remember. I was probably wrong about what I just said because I don't remember it right. But anyways, this guy did this yoik, and even though there are no lyrics, you could feel what he was feeling. And that one I listened to a fair amount. Um, I haven't listened to it in a few months, but just because I'm so impressed by somebody making the judges weep without saying a single word. Just using your voice, the melody, the chords. So impressive. Um, Raspberry says the Stones will never be a band that means anything to me. I'm not a big Stones fan either. I mean, I'm impressed that they're like a million years old and still strutting across the stage. But Raptor Ranch loves their classics. Good enough. Destiny Fitzgerald loves the Scissor Sisters. Any which way, don't feel like dancing, take your mama. Very classics oriented people here. Colt Ford. Okay. I said you don't have to answer, dude. But now I'm going to YouTube a whole bunch of Colt Ford. The Wolf Song by Joanna Jinton. I think I know that one. Joanna. Just let me please be on Apple Music. Joanna Jinton. Yeah. She's yeah, I know this. Did she appear on a Ray Mears episode, or am I mixing her up with another one? I've heard the Wolf Song before, but just her name reminds me of. I'll look her up. But I mean, I know the Wolf Song for sure. Jim heard someone else sing the Wolf Song. Girl Named Tom's remake of Helplessly Hoping. Okay, I will look that up as well. Cody just called me and then hung up. Okay. All right. Girl Named Tom. Like, I'm gonna be real careful not to play any of these on screen because I don't want to. Girl Named Tom. Like, I don't want to get shut down before we do it on purpose. Like, I wonder what is it about a song that lifts us up when we're feeling down? I know with some songs, it's just the damn chord progression. It's like, whew. Oh, they were on The Voice? Okay. This I did not know because I do not watch these shows. Like sometimes it's just the chords, right? But sometimes maybe it's the memories that a song brings up. Although not for me, but in my opinion, that could also be like the opposite, you know? A song brings back memories that are melancholy. That's not uplifting. It's not necessarily the same as sad, but memory is so powerful. Nowhere is it more powerful than with smell or sometimes taste, but more smell. But even with like a song, memory can really do a number on you, or just lift you up all the way. Oh yeah, for Raptor, it was a memory for sure. Hey, David Evans comes in with a stonking idea. Boy named Sue. That'll make you feel better. That song is hilarious. Um, says that Destiny says the chords in "If You Could Read My Mind" by Gordon Lightfoot. Those '70s songs really knew what they were doing. That's a great song. And that's one of those songs that I feel real warmth towards because it brings me back to a simpler time. Good feelings, yeah. Jim says, "Oh, the song I heard was 'Running with the Wolves' by Aurora.' That's a banger. That's a great song. She's a really interesting artist. Really, I don't know how awkward it would be to sit down with her for coffee, but I have a lot of respect for her as an artist." Should I have another one of those? Yeah, "Running with the Wolves" is great. There's another song by her called "Heathens," I think. Which is fabulous. I've done some damage to this bottle over the past week. It's because it's so damn good. I have to not do too much damage to it because I want to do an episode on my whiskey channel comparing this one with the other Port Charlotte I have, which is a 10-year. This is a 2013. The other one's a 10-year. But yeah, Jim. Okay, so it's wrong song, but still terrific. I had to learn "What a Wonderful World" for a wedding in like 2 days. I did a very simplified bass line, let me tell you. Very simplified. Like, I don't have a feel-good playlist. I have songs that, like, when I hear them, I'm immediately at 3 AM, spring night at my drawing table, and, like, the window's open and that kind of wee hours breeze is coming in, and there's a feeling that comes with that, you know? I think there are songs that, like there's a song by Zaz called "On Ira." I'm pretty sure none of you have ever heard it. Um, Zaz is I think, Parisian, um, artist who Serge probably knows about Zaz. Let me just hold on. Now, Zaz has reworked the song for live in later years, and I think it's terrible. But Zaz On Ira, les paroles, no, the actual video. It's a clip officiel. I'll share it with you guys. It's in French, so so for most of you, so what? But I really like the lyrics. I love the bass line is classy and interesting and not overdone, but still kind of hard to learn. Um, I love the lyrics. I think she's got a hot voice. I don't think she's like an overwhelming sex bomb or anything, which is part of why I like her actually. But if anyone wants to hear what I'm talking about, just out of pure ass curiosity, hooked on a feeling, yeah, nice. Uh, Raptor Ranch says that's on my funeral. I believe she's talking about What a Wonderful World. Oh my God, Mark, absolutely. The He owns that song, man. The absolute textbook version of that song. Jim says, I really want to cheer up. I listen to Black Flag. I went to see Henry Rollins was doing a talking tour. And I was like, I got to see him because I missed the whole Black Flag thing. To me, Black Flag has only been like on albums kind of thing. But I knew he was an interesting guy. Um, and so I went to see his, I was like, it was whatever, $20 a ticket. I mean, this is a long time ago too, though, right? I went to see him. I walked in, not knowing what to expect, and I was rapt, man. This guy talked for 2 hours, and I was just like absolutely rapt by what he was saying. And not because everything was, pebbles of wisdom. No, other little round things. Did pearls? Not because everything was a pearl of wisdom, but because this guy's lived some stuff, man, and he's managed to take in aggregate his life as a performer and bring it together into a narrative that is compelling and sometimes hilarious, always meaningful. This guy is clearly grateful for where he ended up, especially because not everyone he knew made it. Um, Very cool worldview that obviously comes from having grown up on the rough side of town, for sure, or maybe not grown up there, but been on the rough side of town. I did some learning on that side of town because I don't know where he was born or anything. But it was so worth my money. I so enjoyed that night, and I I love that kind of thing. Like spoken, like I love a good talking tour. I don't get to see very many. Man, if Professor Brian Cox ever comes through Montreal or Ottawa, I'm going. Um, I was just I still remember him just standing there and talking, and like he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do drugs, he doesn't drink. I think a lot of that is anymore. He does love his Diet Coke though. I went to see him with a girl who um likes all of those things. And so she's like, yeah, but he does Diet Coke. I'm like, okay, sure. Um, I was like, if that's what you came away with tonight with, you probably should have listened to the rest of the stuff he was talking about, you know? But man, I just love that because look, we see these artists as, a hulking sort of ape dude because the guy's huge, right? I mean, he's Gastool, right? Um, we see them as these guys shouting into a microphone, and we don't see them as anything more than that. But everyone is more than that, you know. Serge loves that song. Yeah, I was talking about the hooked on feeling. Mm. I think Serge is on his way out because his phone is dying. Good night, Serge. Bonsoir. Mark Davidson comes in with a Van Halen. Yeah. Okay, so I'll say like a band that was not part of my youth necessarily, but I do love Living on a Prayer. I love the story behind it, like the production story. Um, I've come to appreciate it now that I play it. I've been playing it for 20 years. It's a very fun bass line to play. This past weekend, um, while talking about, oh, Christy's out. Good night. No, wait, who's out? We're not in. Okay. Hold on. Okay, Raptor Ranch is out. Good night. Sleep well. Serge is out because his phone's about to die. So good night. Is that it? No one else? Okay, I'm gonna go back. Sorry about the sinus, guys. Um, I jumped, so now I'm lost. Country Boy says the intro for Van Halen's "Hot for Teacher" can pull me way out of any funk. I have a wicked stereo in my truck, and everyone within a block can feel the bass from that intro. Fair enough. Oh yeah, so this weekend, as we were talking about music, as bands do, um, that song came up, and I had mentioned that Hugh McDonald, who is currently Bon Jovi's bass player, was not the bass player when that song was recorded. It was, I don't remember who, and I don't remember who recorded a bass line. This song wasn't going anywhere, and Van Halen was like, "This song is terrible. We're going to drop it." Not purely based on the bass line. Okay, there were issues with it, and Ricky Sambora was like, "No, man, it's a good song. We just have to find that in it." And so they went back to the studio, and um, controversially, they brought in Hugh McDonald on the bass for that song, and he wrote the bass line that we hear now. He didn't get a credit for it, which was, oh my god, if there's a credit you want, that would have been it. But he played the bass line that is there now. They reworked the song, and we have this, but the original version of that song is a hidden track on that huge 4-ish multi-disc collection that they put out um, in I don't care when, and it's terrible. If they hadn't redone that song, we would not know that song. It would have sunk like an anchor. And so I'm glad that and now Hugh McDonald, by the way, is their bass player. Everyone is agreeing with Scott about the intro to Van Halen's "Hot for Teacher." I also kind of like "Sweet Child of Mine" by Axl Rose and the Boys. The thing about it, like I was never really a Guns N' Roses fan. There were a few songs that I liked and a whole lot of stuff I didn't like. It wasn't my kind of music. Like when I was college age, right? And in Canada, well, at least in Quebec, college age is younger than university age. It's between high school and university. Um, like I was into bands like the Sex Pistols, the Clash. I'm still really like the Clash, the Cure. I still really like the Cure. Um, Sex Pistols were fun at the time. I was into Echo and the Bunnymen to a certain extent. Wasn't really into Flock of Seagulls. that was sort of that was a little bit on the pale for me. I liked Susie and the Banshees. I wouldn't listen to a Susie and the Banshees album today for any price, but at the time it fed into where I was going. A lot of ska, from the Skatalites to the Specials to even Madness, English beat to a certain extent. Bands like that. Um, Still love ska. That's probably what I would listen to if I wanted to bump myself up. For some reason, ska has a summery feel to me. Yeah, everyone is agreeing with City Boy on that. Um, the alarm? I am doing a Google search. Oh, the new wave. Yeah, wow. Holy crap. Man Who Sold the World, right? Wait, let me find a oops. I went past it right into a Scott's Bass Listen video. I had not thought of them in years. I think they were originally like a punk band or something. I think a lot of those new wave bands might have started off as punk bands. Oof, Jim, that was a deep cut. Thanks for that. That's yeah. Uh, Thunderstruck. We actually play that as part of a larger medley. Country Boy is not a big fan of The Cure. I think Just Like Heaven is the perfect pop song. Robert Smith would hate to hear me say the words pop song in connection with one of his tunes, but that song is perfect. Not to diss the earlier stuff, but Jim says the Alarm was a warm-up band with Stevie Ray Vaughan for the Pretenders. Hearing those three bands in the same sentence, Pretenders are good stuff though. Stevie Ray Vaughan died way too early. Wow. Bare Naked Ladies Enid. I bought that album and I played the shift out of it. Absolutely loved it. I kind of wish I loved everything they did. That album was lightning in a bottle that I don't think they've touched since. They've had some bigger hits, but they've become more of an international band, you know. But that album was it, man, to me. And me too. Like I had I blanked on it. I was like, I've heard this word, but like as soon as I saw a picture on like I looked them up, and as soon as I saw a picture, like, oh yeah, I love the Jesus and Mary chain as well, and very similar, but on the French side was like Indochine. I love them as well. I just had this memory of this party that I went to with my sister and someone else, and it was in our full on Robert Smith era, right? So you know, hair like all eyeliner, all whatever, and it was one of those rare times when a bunch of goths and a bunch of rockabillys could hang out together, even though like goths, rockabillys, and like rude boys didn't really, oh, and and like mods and stuff. Mods and rude boys could get along. Anyways, I remember we were at this party and the lights were dark, and man, Indochine was on. It was a totally francophone crowd, and there was this rockabilly that we all knew. I don't remember his name, but I remember his girlfriend's name, Lorena, and this girl was completely smoking hot, just like a walking fantasy to my like 17 or 18 or 16-year-old self, right? When you're roiling in hormones. But like she didn't go with goths, man. She was all about rockers, rockabillys. I don't know what the term is in English, right? You know, the greasers in French, they greaser, but I still remember Lorena's face. Don't remember a damn thing about her aside from that, but I remember her face. Um, That sounds like a weird concert. What, really? Stevie got what here's the thing, I feel about electric blues the way a lot of people feel about Celtic music. It's like every song is the same, and to me, every Celtic song is not the same. Y It's not. There are massive differences, but I don't hear the differences. If you were to play me 12 electric blues songs in a row, after song 3, I'd be like, "I feel like I keep hearing the same song," and I don't think that's fair, right? Because there are people who love the blues. There are people who just love the damn blues, and so I acknowledge that my take on the blues is wrong, but I still feel that way. And so, like, look, the guy's a legend, right? But I could kind of for me, I would probably feel the same way. Innocence Mission, never even heard of them. I shall now discover them. But the Alarm, man, like, that's such a deep cut that I'd totally forgotten they existed. Good thing I've got Apple Music. I'm gonna, Innocence Mission. The Innocence Mission. American musical group, alternative rock band. I was all about alternative for so long. I don't know these people. I sure don't know these people. I mean, it looks like they're still active, so I shall, I'll discover them after we're done here. Stray Cats, yeah, I know who Stray Cats were for sure. Absolutely. Raspberry Rock, I feel the same way with rap. I don't. I've come to peace with rap. There are some artists I actively like. There are some I can stand, and then there's some that I really freaking can't. Um, I think one of my all-time favorite rap albums was "La Tribu de Dana" by Mano, which is old and not French, Breton. They were from Bretagne, so they were singing about the album. "La Tribu de Dana" was specifically about ancient Brittany, right? Hold on a second. Um, Jim says it was cool watching him play guitar behind his back and behind his head. Then it started to get old. He kept doing it. Hey, look who's here. Off Grid Recon popping in for the last 15 minutes. Nice to see you. How are things where you are tonight? Christy, I agree that Celtic music does not sound the same, but I love Celtic music. I guess I can only listen to a couple and then I'm done. Um, a lot, a lot of the stuff I do listen to the most is not very traditional. Late at night, I love a good, really trad song. Usually Celtic flute, which is a very specific ebony flute, and bodhrán and like acoustic instruments. But during the day, I like it to be a lot louder. I like sort of a more of a Celtic rock sound. Which do I love folk bands like here from Canada, I was gonna say, Spirit of the West, from the East Coast. I like Great Big Sea. Uh, there was an American band that I used to really like, but I don't remember their name. Off Grid's in from home this week. Nice. How's the weather? You getting some time to kick back, enjoy a drink? Peanut Trucker, I'm way behind the spinning wheel of death. I'm out. So, all right. Good night, Chris. Thanks for hanging out with us while you could. Um, Russell went to a jazz bar to listen to a live band. They got repetitive real fast. Every song was pretty much the same. It starts, everyone gets a solo, it ends. I find that, like, if I go to a jazz bar and they're doing, like, modes-based stuff, my brain starts to melt really fast. Because if they're doing one modes-based song, that's their jam, and the entire night is gonna be modes-based, and then my brain will melt out my ears. Jim needs more beer. Fair enough. I would also need more beer if I wasn't drinking whiskey. What's Russell drinking tonight? Disney says that the Star Spangled Banner song hits hard every time. I love the story. Like, what I love about the Star Spangled Banner is that they literally took a British drinking song, which, by the way, is probably the hardest drinking song to sing ever. Wow, 20-ish? Yeah, that's nice. I mean, it was like 29 here, which was hot today. I mean, it started off nice, yeah, I love 20. Uh-oh. Jim Blue is poor. Sorry to hear it, Jim. Hmm. This conversation turned really interesting for me because your musical tastes don't tell me a whole bunch of, like, really intimate details about you, but nobody doesn't like music. You know what I'm saying? Even people are like, "I don't like music." I'm like, "What about this song?" "No." "What about this song?" "No." "Do you like this one?" "Yeah." "Uh-huh." Like, nobody doesn't like music. What people don't like, maybe they're too shy to dance in front of people. Maybe they don't wanna, like, be caught singing. Maybe they don't like noise, so they don't wanna hear a blaring radio. But, man, music is fundamental. It's I was gonna say it's basic, but that's exactly the same thing as fundamental, but it's primordial, right? Folk dances, so many of them are based in, like, fertility rituals, right? I mean, hey, your wife is watching with you tonight. Nice. I will try to remain polite and, respectful. Yes, that's what I shall do. Um, hold on a second. Scott. Hi, Scott, by the way. What the hell's with all these surprises popping up? Nice to see everyone. As long as you're talking about music, did you see that Rick Derringer passed away? Yes. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. But it's like everyone's dying now, right? Everyone that I grew up listening to seems to be dying now. Tomorrow, Billy Joel will be gone, and then I'll be like, okay. I had this conversation with my dad. This is very Canadiana, maybe, but these artists are also internationally known. But um, Gordon Lightfoot had just died. And I was talking to my dad, and I was like, I called him up and I said, I've been listening to Gordon Lightfoot, and I'd forgotten that for every real awesome banger he wrote like two or three kind of crap songs. That was sort of a conversation. We were talking about how, well, most of them do it that way. Um, and it's like, a lot of guys are dying here, Dad. And I believe that one day I'm going to wake up in a world where Gordon Lightfoot has died, Bruce Cockburn has died, and Valdy has died. And I don't know how to live in that world. Because the thing is, all these guys that I grew up listening to are disappearing, you know? Um, and I grew up heavily listening to Canadiana and Canadian folk, right? And, and Piano Man, whatever his name is, because my brain has just melted. But, Country Boy says, "My music catalog is eclectic as hell." Well, so is mine, and I listen to music from many different continents. So, um, SB Raven didn't mean to send this down there. Are you kidding me? This is amazing. I'm loving this. I have learned so much about all of you guys. Upgrade Recon wants to know the name. Oh, your wife, I assume. Hold on. I wonder if they're still Menno. It's a Breton hip hop band formed in 1998, known for their fusing of traditional Celtic melodies with modern hip hop beats. It was initially composed. Okay, yeah, but do they have a kind of their biggest hit off of the album was called Panic Celtic. The song was La Tribu de Dana, but the album, which was rock solid, was a Panic Celtic. So that's just a link to a YouTube of oh, it's just the song, it's not even a video. What the hell? I'm gonna share this one instead. Ignore what I just did because this is the actual official, video clip, video? There you go. So the entire album was and here's the thing, right? Celtic is not just you say the word Celtic and you think Irish or Scottish, but the thing is there's Welsh, there's Breton, and first of all, the languages of Wales and Brittany are much more similar than like, Scottish and Irish are very similar, and Welsh and Breton were very similar. In the last, I said the last century because I was born in the 1900s, but, like, up until the early 1900s, the Welsh and the Breton could kinda broadly understand each other. Um, there's the Cornish, and Breton Celtic music is really freaking different. They had an instrument called the bombard that did not exist in the British Isles. Might have existed in Wales, actually. Kind of a little it's like a trumpety thing, but it has a double reed, um, which you would hear on that album, and it's a very different sound for sure. And I mean, this is, the Breton and the Irish are the 2 most, um did my sound just hiccup? That was weird. Like, the Breton and the Irish are the 2 strongest thrusts in Quebec traditional music. Um, so yeah, it's Manu, Manau. Did I just dive down a rabbit hole? Russell says, "Yeah, but my man, listen to this. Mozart died, Beethoven died, Bach died. Yet you survived. You'll be fine." Interesting that you mentioned Bach because every bass player you hear on the radio loves Bach. It all goes back to Johann Sebastian Bach for us. Absolutely. He was the first of the big composers to understand the bass. And some would say he was the only, but he's it all goes back to Bach. In the same way that philosophy, or at least Anglo-British sort of English-speaking philosophy, all goes back to Kant. Um, Maybe Continental does as well. Like everything is a response to Kant kind of thing, or like all of science goes back to Isaac Newton. Bass players are built on a foundation that was solidly constructed by Johann Sebastian Bach. Uh, Jim says the 2 bands he thought he'd like to see in concert again are the Romantics and Jimmy Buffett. You can't see Jimmy again. It's funny because I had thought that I absolutely missed the boat on the Police because I loved the Police. I still love the Police. I still love Sting. And I was like, "That's a boat that I missed." And then they went out on tour again, and I spent whatever the hell it took, which was, at that point, a shit ton to get 2 tickets to go and see them 8th row on the floor. No regrets. No regrets. But, like, today, I would not buy, concert tickets in this town. No way. J-O-G is Russell. Yeah, well, I just take it on face value and go with it. Uh, Destiny says, Shane Fillon, knee deep in my heart. I do not know Shane Fillon. Tell me more, Destiny. Is Shane classic rock? Celtic stuff? Adult contemporary? I've never heard that name. Should I check it out? Christy says somebody's feeling snarky tonight. I do not know who you're talking about, but I think it might be Russell. Mark says, Gordon Lightfoot, The Circle is Small, came on the radio today. Man, he could write songs. He could. I mean, but he did write some shit. Nobody heard that, right? He could write some poorly written songs as well. Every now and again, there was a song where, like, what are you thinking? And again, talking to my band boys this weekend, because whenever we're driving somewhere, we're like, okay, what do we want to hear next? Wouldn't it be cool to? This is not my idea. This is my fiddler's idea. This is Peter's idea to create a band that just does like the B sides of a band's entire career, or like just B sides, just or a band's worst songs rather than their best hits. Even Spirit of the West, I love that band. Stunned recently by how many of their songs were just not that, man. Stunned. Circle is Small. And I find that so many of his songs were really evocative. Like on Carefree Highway, I can see a 1970s highway. You know, um, with a dollar in my hand in um, fuck. Anyway, but like a lot of what he says in his songs, I can see it. I remember being in the 70s, and like if you were caught at 5 p.m. in a store with an empty wallet, that was it. There was no bank card to just go tap, you know? Like I remember what life was like in the 70s. Jim liked the menu. Glad to hear it. I thought they were terrific. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna add that to my Apple playlist as well because I haven't listened to that album in years. But it was happening at a time in my life when I was young and just trying to figure shit out. And that that song specifically, the Tribu de Dana, I think is the best one on the album. It's a pretty good album, but I think that song is the best one. It's just, I mean, he's singing about historical stuff, you know. Great song. Destiny with maybe the last quotable quote of the night since we're actually after 11 o'clock. Back to Bach. Going back to Bach to back. You guys. um, yeah, I do think that he was a folk god. I think Valdi was a folk god, and he's nowhere near as widely known. But whew, a lot of his later stuff, I'm not as into. But like Hometown Band and his career started the same year I did. I mean, I was born, just so like Valdi, man. The old songs, the 70s songs, they just really speak to me. They were the soundtrack of my childhood. And so there might be a lot of that there, but like Hot Rocks is a song he put out that I didn't understand a thing, but just from the sound of the chords, I knew it was about something bad, you know? Jim also loved Gordy. Gordy really made real inroads into the US, like with songs like Edmund Fitzgerald and stuff. I mean, he he did the New York circuit, right, along with Joni Mitchell and Bob Dylan. Off Grid Recon's wife liked the video, linked to 2 thumbs up. Nice. Good. I'm glad you liked it. Holy crap, Jim Croce, of course. I mean, that's a different era for sure, but I mean, but now we're not getting like we're not really discussing feel good music anymore. Like, oh my god, bad day, gotta listen to this. Although that tribute to Dana, I would totally listen to because musically, it really amped me up. Jim Croce he's foundational, right? Like a lot of folk music sort of built on his shoulders, kind of thing, and some early rock pop. I don't know. I hadn't thought of him in a long time. What is the best song by Innocence Mission? I would like to know that too, because I will give it a listen. Boom, boom, boom. I'm just looking up the Christie minstrels. I think the only thing I can tell about the Christie minstrels, and I think it was the Christmas whatever. Oh, sorry, I forgot to bring this up. So I'm just gonna look them up. Oh, Green Green. They were like a big band. I don't mean a big band like a big jazz band, but there was like a million of them, wasn't there? Hold on a second. Green Green, yeah, I recognize that. I don't know anything about the band. In fact, I didn't even know even that song. I didn't know. It was just something that was in the soundtrack of my um, youth, I guess. And maybe even Green Green was the new Christy Minstrels. Was there I don't know. Your favorite folk artist was a Czech artist, Vabi Donek, somehow related to me. Uh, I've never heard that person. Russell, you did not know who Lou Reed was? Man, the Velvet Underground was a very big band for me for a long time. Very big. I had all their albums like on tapes. Um, so that band was put together by excuse me, by the New York pop artist who I know very well, but whose name escapes me right now. Jesus Christ, my brain. I mean, it's 11 and I've had some whiskey, but um Velvet Underground was put together as like a side project, for a very big name artist. Fuck, what was his name? Oh, I hate it when this happens because I know this guy. I mean, he was a big name in the pop art movement. I'm just gonna look up. Not Keith Haring. Big guy as well, but definitely not Keith Haring. Oh my god, what was his name? He did like Queen Elizabeth and he did the soup cans. What the fuck was his name? Andy Warhol. God. So yeah, Velvet Underground was like his little pet project. Uh, and of course, Lou Reed just went on making music after they're gone. Apparently, Lou Reed was not a very nice man, but um, he was a product of his time for sure. And I don't know, there was something about their ragged ass sound that really spoke to me. Absolutely just spoke to me. Oh, Chrissy, I wanted to mention that um, your dad listened to him, so you did too. My mom likes or liked at one point um, Loretta Lynn. I could never connect with Loretta Lynn. I recognized that there was some good stuff happening there, but I could never connect with her sound. Scott also liked Lou Reed. Could you imagine singing about "Take a Walk in the Wild," like bringing that song out now? That line and the Color Girls sang. Like, could you like any of that song coming out now? Product of its times. Love that song though. Jim just saw the time. Got to go. Yeah, I gotta go too. We'll go until 11:15, and then we're shutting her down. That's the thing. That's the thing. It was so raw. It was so like unpolished. It was so garage bandy. I just loved it. I still do. I'll still listen to Velvet Underground on occasion. No more whiskey tonight. No more beer tonight. Is everyone saying good night to Jim? Yep. Yeah, Walk on the Wild Side is a great song, but it's a song that would not be made today. And I'm not making any comments on woke versus non-woke because um, my politics are further to the left than most people here, I think. Not hugely so, but a little bit. But I do think that that song would never be made today. Um, I just think it's so cool. To a certain extent, he has the same magic as Leonard Cohen did. That these guys couldn't technically sing, but what they brought to the table was just it was more. You know what I'm saying? It was more enough that it kind of didn't matter. And look, I listened to a lot of punk growing up, and the whole aesthetic of punk was so you don't know how to learn an instrument? Who cares? Get on stage, learn it while you do it. Make your message hit. I'm thinking like even the Clash, right? Simonon painting the letters of the notes on his bass fretboard back in the early days. You know, I I have an appreciation for that kind of raggedness. That it's not the only thing I want to hear, but for a long time it was the only thing I wanted to hear. Is like Velvet Underground, Sex Pistols, the Clash. Real sort of. I don't even know what the word. I like the Clash and the Sex Pistols are straight up London punk, right? Which blew the stuffing out of New York punk when it arrived. And that's why like Blondie just gave up and turned into a disco band, which was still fabulous, by the way. To this day, I say if anyone wants to be falcon punched, talk to me during Heart of Glass. Just try it. Heart of Glass is playing. Don't you talk to me. Just until it's over. I'm elsewhere. Destiny's out. Okay. Wishing you good food, fair weather. Bonsoir tout le monde. Et bisous. Thanks for a great live, Jess. Until next time. Until next time, Destiny. Uh, stay safe. Be fabulous. I'd love to just, like, show up at Destiny's house one day. Tuk, tuk, tuk. "Hi, recognize me? Let's do a video." I'd love to meet any of you, actually. I've met Russell, which was great, by the way, but I'd love to meet anyone on YouTube. Ugh, 12:13, 11:13. In 2 minutes, I'm shutting this down. I'm eating a piece of cheese, brushing my teeth, and going to bed. Because that's the way I roll. I have really found this conversation fascinating. This has been fabulous. I do love to talk about music, and especially what I would Country Boy says, "Debbie Harry was a special kind of artist." Okay, so I went to pick Camille up from school one day, I mean, because she was still all in a cast and everything, and I had Blondie playing, and she said I don't remember what she asked, something about what she did she have a cool look or something? I said, "She was a smoking hottie, rider clause in a 1970s context." Right? Because what we think of as hot is nowhere near what we thought of as hot in the 70s or the 50s or the 60s. You think about Marilyn Monroe, the press would be savage about that poor woman today. She's like 20 pounds too heavy. She was fucking not. Give me a break. But what we're sold as sexy these days is so plastic and packaged, you know? And the 70s was a much freer time in terms of that, shall we say? So I said, "Yeah, man, she was a smoking hottie back then." And she looked her up and she's like, "Well, I can see it." After you get past the 70s, like, get up. But, like, a lot of the smoking hottie aspect was that I really liked her voice, That it was a down and dirty voice, and she was on key, so it wasn't like she wasn't growling all the time, but, I mean, her voice came from a more basic place than what some others, um, say Linda Ronstadt, who was also a very bloody good singer. It was just a different thing, and you felt it a little lower down, you know? I don't know. I may have gone a little too piggish there. But, I mean, that was part of the magic, right? Oh, we're at 11:15. Okay, so I'm gonna shut this thing down because I gotta work in the morning. Everybody, please, please, please do the following things: stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy, and be kind to one another. Good night, everyone.